On a warm evening in Liverpool, Australia, the life of a vibrant young woman took a horrifying turn. What began as a mysterious disappearance spiraled into a shocking discovery that would send chills through an entire nation. Join us as we uncover the dark and twisted truth behind the brutal murder of Tatiana Dokhotaru, a case that exposed the sinister side of trust and betrayal. This is a story you won't forget. Prepare yourself for a journey into the depths of human darkness.
On a seemingly ordinary evening in May 2023, Tatiana Dokhotaru, a vibrant and loving mother living in Liverpool, Australia, vanished without a trace. The day had started like any other, but by nightfall, a chilling silence had settled over her apartment. Friends and family quickly noticed her absence, as Tatiana was known for her close-knit relationships and regular communication with those she loved. When Tatiana failed to return calls or messages, concern quickly turned to panic. The next morning, Tatiana's family reported her missing, setting off a frantic search throughout the community. Her friends organized search parties, and local authorities were brought in to help unravel the mystery. As investigators combed through her apartment, they found unsettling clues, evidence of a struggle and personal items left behind, suggesting that Tatiana had not left willingly. The once peaceful neighborhood was now buzzing with fear and speculation. Days turned into weeks, and the search for Tatiana grew increasingly desperate. The police, working tirelessly, began to uncover a darker side to the story. They learned of Tatiana's troubled relationship with her estranged husband, Danny Zayat, a man who had a history of violence and control. Whispers began to circulate that Danny might have played a role in her disappearance, but without concrete evidence, the case remained shrouded in mystery. The community watched in horror as Tatiana's story made headlines, her face plastered on missing person posters throughout the city. The fear that gripped Liverpool was palpable, as everyone wondered how such a thing could happen in their midst. As the investigation dragged on with no resolution in sight, hope began to wane, and the terrifying possibility that Tatiana might never be found began to sink in. Nearly a month after Tatiana's disappearance, the case took a devastating turn. On the morning of June 23, 2023, police made a gruesome discovery. Tatiana's lifeless body was found concealed in a large suitcase, dumped in a remote area of Liverpool. The discovery sent shockwaves through the community, confirming the worst fears of her family and friends. The condition of Tatiana's body suggested that she had met a violent and horrific end. The investigators, who had already been working around the clock, now faced the grim task of piecing together her final moments. The once promising life of Tatiana Dokhotaru had been cruelly and violently cut short, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and a community in mourning. As detectives delved deeper into the case, they focused their attention on Danny Zayat, who had become the prime suspect. Danny's history of domestic violence and control had not gone unnoticed, and now the evidence seemed to be pointing directly at him. Forensic experts worked meticulously to connect the dots, gathering DNA samples, phone records, and witness testimonies that would later prove crucial in the investigation. The community, still reeling from the loss, demanded justice for Tatiana. Candlelight vigils were held, and her story spread far beyond the borders of Liverpool, drawing attention from across Australia. The chilling details of her murder horrified the nation, prompting calls for greater awareness and protection against domestic violence. But for those who knew Tatiana, the pain of losing her in such a brutal way was almost unbearable. In July 2023, the police made their move, arresting Danny Zayat in connection with Tatiana's murder. The arrest brought a sense of relief to some, but for many, it marked the beginning of a long and painful journey toward justice. As Danny was taken into custody, he maintained his innocence, but the evidence against him was mounting, and the community watched anxiously as the case headed to trial. The trial of Danny Zayat began in October 2023, drawing widespread media attention. The courtroom was packed with spectators, all eager to see how the case would unfold. The prosecution presented a compelling case, detailing Danny's history of abuse and control over Tatiana, and how that control had eventually turned deadly. They argued that Danny, unable to let go of his power over her, had planned and executed the murder in cold blood. The defense, however, attempted to cast doubt on the prosecution's narrative. They painted a picture of a troubled relationship, but denied that Danny was capable of such a heinous act. The trial was a roller coaster of emotions, with shocking revelations and heartbreaking testimonies from Tatiana's family and friends. Each day brought new twists, and the tension in the courtroom was palpable. As the trial neared its conclusion, the jury was faced with a difficult decision. The evidence against Danny was overwhelming, but the defense's arguments had left a seed of doubt. In the end, after days of deliberation, the jury returned a guilty verdict, sentencing Danny Zayat to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The verdict brought some closure to Tatiana's family, but the pain of losing her would never truly fade. The murder of Tatiana Dokhotaru had a deep and lasting impact on the Liverpool community and beyond. Her death highlighted the dangers of domestic violence and the importance of taking action before it's too late. In the aftermath of the trial, there were renewed calls for better resources and support for victims of domestic abuse, as well as greater accountability for those who perpetrate such violence. Tatiana's story became a rallying cry for change, with her name becoming synonymous with the fight against domestic violence. Support groups and organizations dedicated to helping victims saw an increase in awareness and involvement as people sought to prevent such tragedies from happening again. Her family, while devastated by their loss, found some solace in the outpouring of support and the steps being taken to honor Tatiana's memory. In the years that followed, Tatiana's case continued to be a topic of discussion and reflection. Her story was shared in classrooms, community centers, and legal forums as a powerful reminder of the need for vigilance and compassion. The lessons learned from her life and death resonated with many, inspiring a new generation to stand up against violence and to advocate for those who cannot speak for themselves. As time passed, Tatiana's legacy lived on through the lives she touched and the changes her story helped bring about. Her tragic end was a stark reminder of the dangers that lurk behind closed doors, but it was also a testament to the strength of a community united in the pursuit of justice. Though she was taken too soon, Tatiana Dokhotaru would not be forgotten, and her story would continue to inspire and protect those who might otherwise have been lost.